And here's the project we're going to do today. I'm calling this one Winter Lake. And these are the stamps that were used. They're all from Makin A Scene. This one is T8176E. The boat is M10241C. The little road is T12281G. The rocky shore is T2035F, and the tall grass is M1026B. And the different inks that were used in this project are listed right here. I will also have these in the description of the video. And so let's begin. My goal today is to take this particular layout, which I had previously done, and turn this into a winter scene. So we're going to use the same stamps and layouts that we did for this particular scene, but we are going to attempt to make it wintry. So I have a quarter sheet of Kromekote Glossy cardstock here. I'm using one of my Misty Creative Corners. And I will start by stamping the little pathway road. Okay, I've created a mask for these rocks here. I'm going to reposition and stamp the background and the little boat. And now I will stamp the tree. Okay, now I'll take my Memento black dual marker and I'm going to just kind of complete this road. And now I'm going to give this a chance to completely dry before I start coloring it, and we'll be back. Okay, I put a small mask for where the sun is going to be, and I'm going to have a slight orange around the sun, and so I'm going to use some Memento Cantaloupe. And I'll use a makeup brush that's small-headed and it's kind of got a flat top. And I will clean off the brush by wiping it on a dry microfiber cloth. Now for the rest of the sky and the water, I'm going to use two colors. I'm going to use a Stampin' Up! Brocade Blue and a Distress Ink Faded Jean. And I will start with the Brocade Blue. And I'm going to use one of my other makeup brushes for this. Okay, I'm going to mask the horizon line here and start to define the horizon line. I'm going to take a little bit of the Memento Cantaloupe and my small brush again and just start adding some of this for the reflection in the water from the sun. Okay, I've cleaned off this brush and then I'm just going to go kind of back and forth to kind of blend in everything that has been put on so far. Okay, now I'm going to put on some of my Distress Ink Faded Jeans. Okay, now I'm going to go back to the Brocade Blue. Okay, now I'm going to go back to the Faded Jeans. Okay, and I'll put some Memento Desert Sand. Okay, now I'll use some Memento London Fog. Okay, I'm going to take some more of Memento Cantaloupe. Okay, for the trees in the background, I'm going to use some Copic markers, G43 and G46. Okay, my tip started pooling, so what I did is I removed the chisel tip cap, and that helps if a Copic marker has been overfilled and it tends to start to glob. Okay, now I'm going to take a dry paper towel and just kind of lightly buff. Okay, now I'm going to add a little bit of green to this tree, and so I'm going to use the same color Copic markers for this. Okay, for the boat and the ground, I'm also going to use some Copic markers, E70, 74, and 79. Okay, now I'm going to add a little bit of blue tint to this boat by using BG72 and BG75. Okay, now I'm going to add some snow to the scene. I'm going to use some Hero Arts Unicorn White pigment ink, and I'll apply it using my Fantastics applicator, and I've cut the tip so that it's wedge-shaped. All right, I'm going to let this pigment ink dry for a little bit, and then I'll look and see if I want to add any more coatings, and then I will start adding some shadows into the system. Okay, the pigment ink isn't dry yet, but I want to start adding my shadows, so I'm going to use another Fantastics that I've cut down to a wedge shape, and I'm going to use Distress Ink Faded Jeans to add my shadows. Okay, I made a little bit too dark down here in the corner, so I'm going to add a little bit more of the white pigment ink. And maybe I'll put some fluffy clouds in the sky, just a hint of them. Okay, I'm going to give this a little bit of a chance to dry, and we'll be back. Okay, I'll use some Memento London Fog to add some of these grasses. Okay, and I want those grasses to be a little bit darker, so I'm going to use some Memento Tuxedo Black also. Okay, now I'm going to give this a couple of hours to dry really well before I spray it with an acrylic coating, and then we'll be back. Okay, the pigment ink has kind of faded in some of these areas, so I'm going to use my thickest white Uniball gel pen to just kind of add the snow at the top of these rocks. Okay, and I'm going to take a black jelly roll. This is 06 to sign and date. Okay, and I'll give this a few more minutes to dry, and then I'm going to spray it with my acrylic coating. It's been 2 hours since I put on all the white pigment ink, and about a half an hour since I put on the white gel pen. And so I'm going to take it outside now and spray it with some Krylon UV-Resistant clear acrylic coating. And since there is so much pigment ink and gel pen on there, I'm going to do several very, very light layers. And when I'm finished, we'll be back. Okay, and here is the final product after it's been sprayed. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Bye.